What is the critical path method in construction? The critical path method in construction is a form of project scheduling that uses a diagram to determine the time required to accomplish each activity. The critical path method, or CPM for short, is also known as critical path scheduling. Project managers mostly use it to successfully plan building projects. What is a critical path diagram? A critical path diagram is a visual planning tool that shows all of the construction operations that must be completed to finish a project. The diagram considers the duration of each activity, the preceding activity or how one activity is connected to another, and the log. The diagram enables for the visual breakdown of a project into tasks, which are commonly portrayed in boxes. How do you identify a critical path? A detailed network diagram that takes into consideration each activity, its length, predecessors, and latency determine the critical path. The critical path is a sequence of activities that must be completed in order for the project to be completed. Using the critical path method to map out each project's activity, predecessor, and log, project managers may compute the entire project duration. The CPM is then used to determine the important activities or critical path required to execute the proposed project. A critical path diagram also includes non-critical tasks. These are operations that have more schedule flexibility and will have less influence on the project. How is the critical path method applied in the field of construction? Construction projects can be complex and time-consuming. CPM supports project managers in completing construction projects on schedule and within budget. Following the signing of a construction contract, project managers may utilize the CPM to successfully plan and prepare for the impending project. They may break down all the required tasks and slot them into the diagram, link their interdependencies, estimate activity durations, and identify the key route to accomplish the project. Now that we've learned the principles of the critical path method, we can begin creating the network diagram.
But first, let's create project's activity schedule. Here are the following procedures that should be followed in performing critical path method networking. Construct a project network, perform forward and backward passes, determine project completion time, calculate slacks values, and finally state the critical path. So here is the network with the activity nodes displaying the letter and time. So let's do the forward pass. A has no predecessors, so its earliest start time will be 0, or right away since it has 5 days to be completed, its earliest finish time will be 0 plus 5, which give 5. B has an earliest start time of 5, and with an activity time of 10, it will have an earliest finish time of 15. Now C and A to be completed before it can start. Since the earliest finish time for A is 5, then the earliest time can start 5, and with activity time of 13 days, C will have an earliest finish time of 13 plus 5, which gives 18. For D, on the other hand, need B to finish before it can start, since the earliest finish time B for 15 respectively, and D needs B to finish in order to For D, on the other hand, needs B to finish before it can start, since the earliest finish time B for 15 respectively, and D needs B to finish in order to start. Then the earliest time D can start, 15. So D finishes at 7 plus 15, which gives 22. E has one predecessor B, so it can start. For G, it has two predecessors E and D. Since the highest earliest finish time is 22, G can start earliest at 22 and finishes at 26. H has two predecessors E and F, so the highest earliest finish time is 27. H can start earliest at 27 and finishes at 30. For I, it also has two predecessors H and G. Since the highest earliest finish time is 30, I can start earliest at 30 and finishes earliest at 30 plus 7, which gives 37. Note here that although I is the last letter, it does not have the highest earliest finish time because I has 37. So we say that the project's completion time is 37 days. In essence, the project's completion time is the highest of the earliest finish time at the finished nodes.
For G, the latest start will be 30 minus 4, and that gives 26. For F, the latest start will be 27 minus 9, and that gives 18. Now E has two predecessors, which is H and G. Their latest start time are 26 and 27 respectively. As a result, the latest time E has to finish has to be 26 in order for G to start. In the essence, when doing background pass, the latest finish time of an activity must be the minimum of the latest start time of its predecessor. Thus, the latest start time for E will be 26 minus G, which is give us a 23. Now D has only one predecessor, which is G. So the latest finish time for D will be the latest start time for G, which is 17, and LS will be 17 minus 7, which is give us 10 for D. For activity C also has one predecessor, which is F. Therefore, latest finish will be 18 for C, and the latest start will be 5. B has two predecessors, D and E. The minimum of their latest start is 19, so the latest finish for B will be 19, and its latest start will be 9. Activity A has also two predecessors, which is B and C. The minimum of their latest start is 5. So the latest finish for A will be 5 and its latest start will be 0. And the backward pass is now complete. Now slacks for an activity is defined as how long the activity can be delayed without extending or increasing the project completion time, and is calculated as LS minus ES or LF minus EF. For A will be 0 or 5 minus 5, which will be 0. The slacks for B will be 4, and for C it will be 0. For D is 4, for E will be 8, for F will be 8 also, and for G 4, for H is 0, and for I also 0. Note, for example, that the activity E can begin anytime between days 15 and 23, and it can finish anytime between days 18 and 26. Delay for up to 8 days, and the project will be completed in day 37. Activity A, C, F, H, and I, on the other hand, can be delayed at or without extending the project completion time. The activities with zero slacks are called critical activities, and they form for the critical path, which is the longest path in H network. So the critical path here is A, C, H, and I, and that's it.